On this rainy day, I'm going to tell you about Goumi berries. So this behind me is a Goumi berry. Goumi berries are very fascinating plants. I think I've had them here for a couple of years now, at least a couple of summers. One of the things that I've read about Goumi berries is that they thrive on neglect. And that is exactly what I've done here. If you look around here on the ground and all around it, it is covered in neglect. And that's something that's really great for me because I have so many things going on. Let me demonstrate to you where this is in respect to everything else. You see, of course, the high tunnel right there. Back here is our house. And over here is the property line, hedgerow, food forest, and then across from that, the neighbors over here. I think this is a sweet scarlet Goumi berry. Sweet scarlet is one of the more popular cultivars. It's supposed to have a really delicious berry. I've gotten a few of these. It seems like the kids probably gotten more than I have because I didn't pay too much attention to them. I think I got these from Burnt Ridge Nursery. I don't remember that for certain, but I think I did. I've got about 2 or 3 or 4 of these sweet scarlet Goumi berries, and then I've got about 8 or 10 carmine Goumi berries. You get more berries whenever you have 2 different varieties. So I've got these 2 different varieties, and if I remember correctly, the sweet scarlet, these were larger plants whenever I purchased them, and they were a bit more expensive than the carmine. The carmine were quite small, and I've just left them here. We'll look at it this way. At the time I planted these, I started here at this T-post, and I put a pecan tree that I got from a nursery in Georgia. I think it was Tai Nursery, but all 4 of those pecan trees did not make it. I planted another one here. There's a video that I got it from nearby. This one that I planted that had the roots on it, it has done okay. The other one that I planted from a cutting, it did not make it. And I think the reason it didn't make it was because I put it in full sun and I didn't keep it super moist as well. In this area, I planted those 4 pecan trees, and I planted where all these white posts are. I planted some very small that I started from seeds, Siberian pea shrubs, and none of those made it either. I think I might have also planted some sea berries along here as well, and I think all of those died as well. I've got 1 sea berry left over toward the property line. I can tell you about it another time. One of the things that I wanted to do in our property here was to try to grow as many things as I possibly could, especially fruit-producing trees. One of the beautiful things about these Goumi berries is, again, that they do thrive on neglect. So I don't have to do anything with them, and they'll just keep growing and do okay. I do come over here every now and then, and I'll stomp all the way around it, and I'll pick some of these weeds. I'm not actually sure what this is. Throw on the ground, and that creates some more green mulch. I might come over here with a weed eater eventually, especially since pretty much everything else has died. There's some other weeds over here as well. Here's some burdock. Burdock, you can use the roots and eat it, but I've never done that. We used to have a lot of it over here in this field. The dog kept on getting it in his fur. And by each one of these pecan trees, I also put a comfrey cutting as well. But again, about these Goumi berries, they've got many health benefits. You can Google that for yourself if you'd like to. Again, they are very easy. Some people call them Goumi trees. It is kind of tree-like. It's, it grows out big. I probably will, at some point, take some cuttings off of these and propagate because you can also use them as a hedgerow. So I might take some cuttings off of these and put them over here on in my hedgerow food forest. So not only will that create a huge screen over here between us and our neighbors. Again, no problem with our neighbors whatsoever. We just want to, create a divide between agricultural over here and a farm, which sometimes smells. It doesn't smell as much really because of some of the things that we do. We try to rotate our pigs. We try to do different things, but this is farm, and that is a subdivision over there. These Goumi berries are nitrogen fixers. And what that means is, in case you haven't heard that term before, is it takes nitrogen out of the air and fixes it in nodules in the ground. So some people who have planted Goumi berries in their orchard alongside other trees have seen up to a 10% increase in production because of the Goumi berries. So you can plant it next to something else and it will produce food for you, and it will help the soil and help the plants that are around it as well. We've got some other nitrogen fixers around here as well. The black locust are nitrogen fixers. I think the red bud are nitrogen fixers. And there's a relative of this that I'll show you in just a minute, the autumn olive, that's a nitrogen fixer as well. I don't have any Goumi berries here to show you, but the seed of the Goumi berry is also edible. Most people don't eat it because it doesn't taste very good, but you can eat it. We're all about trying to create things things on our homestead or grow things on our homestead that are edible and useful in that way. One of the things with permaculture is you stack functions. So with this gummy berry is erosion control, obviously, then it's helpful to plants around it. Then it produces food, and it can be used in a hedgerow. So those are all wonderful things that you can have with the gummy berries. This is something that I recommend. Let me take you over to the autumn olive and compare it to this. One of the only things I don't like about this neglect of the gummy berries is that alongside the gummy berries, I keep on getting these elm trees. They're like weeds over here, and you can use them for firewood. They don't burn quite as hot as some other things, but there's so many of them around here. I cut most all that I have. If you know of a use for elm, I think this is this winged elm. I don't know of a lot of uses for it. I've searched and I've searched and I've searched. Then put those down in the comments below. The slippery elm has some uses. Can't always determine the difference between the slippery elm and others. I know the winged elm because it's got the wings over here, but here's one. Then here's another one right here. There's 2 or 3 more. I've probably got at least 10 or 20 elm trees growing up in this area, and that's one of the reasons that I'm not just going to completely neglect it, because I don't want those elm trees to grow here. The pecan trees, yes. The elm trees, no. That's another benefit of this gummy berry here as well, is it's flowering, and it's one of the earlier ones to flower and produce fruit in the season. So let's go over to the autumn olive. So this is my autumn olive, and no, the camera isn't tilted too badly. This is leaning over to one way. One of the differences between the gummy berries and the autumn olive is that the autumn olive comes on the tree in the autumn versus the gummy berries earlier in the year. Also, the gummy berries aren't considered invasive, while the autumn olive is. This also is a nitrogen fixer. The gummy berry is a nitrogen fixer. This is invasive, where the gummy berry is not invasive. Take that in stride. I don't have a problem with a lot of invasive plants because that means that they grow very well, but you've got to do some work in order to keep them in check. If you haven't grown the gummy berry before, then I recommend you doing that. It's supposed to be pretty easy to do. I've not done anything with those. I've pretty much planted them, then left them alone, and they have thrived, whereas the pecans that I planted in the same spot and the Siberian pea shrubs and the sea berries all died, whereas those left alone lived, done all right. I'll probably eventually move some more of those as I propagate more of them. I'll move some more of them to other places on the farm, but right now they're pretty much exclusively in that location. If you like things like this, like and subscribe. Keep coming back. We do a new video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and a live stream on Sunday night on YouTube at 8 p.m. Central Time. Thanks.